there's going to be an implosion, because we said today is going to be our convention and we are still on it. My brother, please have absolute assurance and confidence in this party. We are going to resolve this evening, and we are going to announce all the national executives to the people in Nigeria. I'm very confident of it.
The Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. It's still something like carnival here. The delegates, they've decided that since the party is not starting, since the event, the program is not starting yet, they are just all around waiting anxiously for that movement to start. And they are saying that ultimately we might come here at the end of the day and the unity list might be presented for ratification. But a lot of people are saying that if you avoid the problem of the unity list, if you can't come into consensus with the unity list, then we have to slug it out at the ballots, and that might take time and time again. So we are still here waiting at the Eagle Square, and TBC, we are here live, and we'll continue to bring to you back-to-back tidbits as it unfolds here from the Eagle Square in Abuja.
Well, that's our correspondent Ayodele Zubakun giving us live updates from the venue of the APC convention at the Eagle Square. A while ago, he spoke with the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, and he seems to be quite hopeful on what the party has in store for Nigerians. Tunde, what do you make of what he said so far?
Your correspondent has a very, very charming question. Especially he talked about the unity list and the implication for democracy. The party, whether it's the APC or the PDP, is supposed to show very good example in the democratic process by allowing people to realize whatever political ambition they may have, not just within the leadership of the party, but also in terms of carrying the respective flag, the different flags that the party might have to offer when elections come. But when you say because you want unity at all costs, because you don't want factionalization, you are afraid of people voting because it might lead to some a result that you might not desire, then what you are simply doing is you are creating a situation, you have a very discomforting peace, if not peace of the graveyard. When people's ambitions are buried under the altar of trying to preserve the unity of the party, they begin to boil inside. And when they are boiling inside, they bottle up a lot of emotion, a lot of anger, in which when they have the next opportunity or the slightest opportunity, that will again erupt, and then you might be back to square one. I would expect that even though some of these positions could be by consensus, in the sense that if a candidate, for example, is able to go around the country, convince other aspirants to step down for him, in that kind of a situation, you could have a consensus. But what we have in there is the party leaders who are kind of imposing, or who are kind of insisting, or who are kind of encouraging, who are kind of persuading these other people to step for one person or the other, not minding how much campaign some of them have done, how much they have spent, the strength they have, and also their capacities as individuals to deliver good leadership to the party. They might not be happy, and you are not showing good example to the ordinary Nigerian that in a few months' time you'll be calling out to go to the poll and vote for you as a political party, when you yourself are very, very afraid of even voting at your own convention because you are not too sure of what the outcome is going to be. Look at what we've been having since 1999 that will return to this democracy. We are beginning to see voter apathy, low voter turnout. We are beginning to see people who, many people are indifferent. The level of registration to vote in election is also dropping. It is because of things like this, because the party in itself that should really mobilize people, that should really encourage people, that should make people believe in the power of the ballot box, in the power of choice. of individuals to vote for whatever candidates that they may have or that they may desire and all that. The party is not encouraging that. The party is not showing good example in that direction.
Right.
I think that is not too good enough.
Well, I understand that all the candidates will be refunded the monies used in buying the forms for the elective positions.
It doesn't totally address the problem. Why do I say this? Take for example, the Asiwaju said his lifelong ambition is to become president of the country.
Let me hold your thoughts for now. We have our correspondent, Ayodele Zubakun, speaking with a guest at the venue of the convention.
Voting becomes formal but also democratic because you're expected to convince the delegates that this is part of what has been accepted, either direct primaries, indirect, or consensus. And in some cases, you have direct primaries, direct elections. In some cases, probably as in the case of the chairman, there would be consensus. So I expect that voting will take place. It's a tedious process. It doesn't happen in 10 minutes. Voting can continue till around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So it's a whole long process. It happens once in 4 years, so it's worth waiting for.
Do you see this as an attempt to actually, choose for the people this consensus thing they are talking about? We thought that the normal procedure is to come here and let everybody exercise their franchise.
We're still going through a democratic evolution, and I think one day, very soon, maybe the next round of elections, we will conveniently get to that point of direct primaries. For now, it's just an escape route because we are having the challenges of transiting into proper democracy. Democracy is difficult to handle, but we all know that direct primaries should be the right thing. Nobody should suggest or impose one candidate. But here we are, and I think since by choice the other aspirants have signed and accepted that Senate leader, that the rest of the people will accept. I suspect that the 6 other withdrawals for the chairmanship position has indicated that
Well, that was our correspondent speaking, Ayodele Zubakun, speaking with a guest at the venue of the APC convention. And, interestingly, he made mention of the reason why the consensus candidate has been adopted, saying it is an escape route. What do you make of that?
That confirms some of the things that we have said here today, that what the APC convention, the convention we are seeing today is a kind of convenience. It's something that has just been done out of convenience, which in a way may not be right, or which at the end of the day does not help the growth of democracy. It does not strengthen intra-party democratic process. And thank God that commentator has been very honest to tell us that, look, it's because of the challenges that we are having, and in order to preserve our unity, that's why we have gone this route. Yes, sometimes you have to beg backward because challenges could be there are, as they say in common parlance, there are so many ways by which you can arrive at your destination if you get your compass right. It's not that there's not going to be voting. All the different candidates are still going to be voted for. If you don't have majority of returns, affirming voting for you to hold up. If, for example, you don't garner the required number of votes, you still might be dropped. Somebody else might be stepping into, might be picked to step in that shoe. So it's a kind of indirect a way of electing, or do you could describe as indirect democracy, so to say. But like we said, when people's ambitions are sacrificed this way, it doesn't occur where they are never happy. For example, like I was saying, if somebody has said, look, he has always had this lifelong ambition to be president, and you just, for reasons that is not convincing enough, you stop him from realizing his ambition. He is never likely to be too happy with that. That's why I would have always preferred that the party should have found a kind of middle ground, not everything by consensus. Let's find a middle ground there are some positions that are not too competitive.
Right.
So if those ones that are not too competitive are there, you could allow people to
have a consensus.
Exactly, to have a concern, and other ones to let them slug it out. And whoever emerges, then you give it. It will strengthen the party at the end of the day. Even though initially it might create its own ripples or storm in the thick of which sooner than later it will wither out. But the leaders they know better than those of us who are armchair critics why they have decided to go this way. Right. So let's give it to them. Let's give them the benefit of doubt that they are doing the right thing, and the right thing will, at the end of the day, benefit the party and then benefit the average Nigerian person on the street. And
talking about the right thing, do you think perhaps the right thing has been done to pacify the aspirants? Already we understand that all the candidates, the monies will be refunded to them, you know, for the nomination forms that they, you know, purchased. Is that enough? Is that enough as the right thing to do to help those to, you know, to quell the, you know, emotions that may be brewing?
It's a good way to go. At least it will assuage the feelings of some of these candidates and also mitigate their losses, because the forms are very, very expensive. Most of those forms were bought a million, and you and I do know that some of these politicians will sell their houses to contest this election. We have seen some of them go to banks to borrow money to contest some of these elections and all that. And so if a man has mortgaged his property or go to bank to take a loan to contest election, at the end of the day you didn't give him the opportunity to contest, and you also don't refund his money, then you are looking for big trouble. So when you return their money to them, at least they say, thank God.
There's peace for that.
Exactly. My losses has been minimized. It's only my ambition and the energy that I spend traversing the country campaigning and all that that have not been compensated for. And the party could still find a way to compensate for those losses too. Because there are still so many opportunities, and if the party perchance win the elections and all that, there are chairmen or board members or corporations, ambassadorial posts and what have you. And some of them could even contest the main election, either to go to the House of Rep or to go to the Senate or to become governor or to become a president and what have you. It could be a win-win situation if the arrangement that they have put together today is well managed. But it will take a lot of tact, a wisdom, and then a dexterity to be able to get good results out of this. And that is why somehow the Adamu as a chairman, even though his temper could sometimes be something to worry about, he has what it takes in terms of education, in terms of political experience and what have you, and in terms of reach throughout the federation and order to bring everybody together as a party. You never can win all the time. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your individual interest and ambition for the bigger interest of the party, for the bigger interest of the nation. That is what these candidates should be thinking about.